Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about a email that I got from I don't know if they were a YouTube subscriber or they, just came across my website, but they have a huge problem trying to get a bankruptcy off of their report. And they asked my advice on it, and I said, well, tell me what you did, and then I will evaluate what you did, because that's the way that you solve problems. You don't solve problems by just letting someone tell you their problem. You also got to evaluate what they've done to solve their problem, because there's a lot of people who absolutely do nothing to solve their problems. They just go running to people and without any information about what they've actually done. Now, this is exactly what the individual has done. This is the problem. The problem, what's hurting them from being able to move forward, is that they have a bankruptcy. Well, they had bankruptcies on all three reports, because when you file bankruptcy, that information is going to be reported to your reports. The individual has done some good work, so I want to congratulate them on that, and has been able to get the bankruptcy off the LexisNexis, so it's out of their system. They've been able to get it off of TransUnion and Equifax. But here is the problem. This is the problem right here, is that Experian keeps updating the information as verified. So right there, that's the problem. That's what's causing the headaches. That's what's making this individual not be able to move forward in their life. Now, you might be saying, well, is this only about bankruptcy? It's not just about bankruptcy. This can happen with any item on your report. I've seen this happen time and time again, and I'm going to tell you the solution on this, so you need to stay with me, because I'm going to tell you exactly what the solution is. Part of it is technical, part of it is mental. Now, also, he had filed a CFPB complaint with no result. It, quote, in their words, they said it fell on deaf ears. So now let's get into the solution. I want to tell you, because I see a lot of people, they get stuck. They get stuck with, when they're trying to make changes in their life, they get stuck, and it's because they're about to have success. When people are going up a mountain, when you're going up a mountain and you're about to have success, see, you can't see what's on the other side of the mountain. And when you get on the other side of the mountain, it's going to be like you're going to be rolling down a hill. So let me just illustrate. Before I get to the solution, let me just illustrate. The mountain. This is a mountain. This is excellent credit. This is excellent credit on that side. You're right here. This is you. You cannot see through this mountain. You can't see through this mountain. And this is a very good example of, this is a real example of someone going through this right now, because this individual is about to get over that mountain. From what was stated in the message that was sent to me, this was sent to me last night, that was the only thing on the report. The only thing that was left on the report. So when you're trying to go up that mountain, it gets harder and harder. It gets harder because it gets steeper, the air is thinner. You have to trust more, you have to have more faith in yourself. You're getting to a place that you haven't seen, and you're going to be at the top where you can see everything. You'll be able to see everything, and then when you look down, the prize is right there. But a lot of people quit. A lot of people quit right in here. They quit because they just don't believe that they're going to get to that point. They believe that everything is against them. So I'm about to first give you a mental side, and I'm going to tell you what to do to resolve it. And this will work with any issue. And this is what we do at the Credit Repair Shop. This is exactly what we do. And some people say, well, why do you charge so much? The reason why we have to charge so much is because of exactly what I'm about to show you right here. But I'm about to tell you how you can do it for yourself. So don't worry about spending any money with me. I'm going to tell you the process that we go through to be able to get this stuff done. So the first thing is that this is you. This is where you started. You knew you had bad credit. You had that goal of having good credit. You want that success. Good. Oh, yeah. Remember I said I'm going to stop saying good. We're going to have excellent. We want excellence here. We want excellent credit over here. And then what I call this is the last test. This is the last test before you get there. Now, I'm going to give you a real life example. And this happens with everything in life. It's not just with credit, but it happened to me personally. This is something that happened to me personally probably about 25 years ago when I was buying the dream home, when me and my wife were buying our dream home for us and our 3 children. And a situation happened. So I had went through 6 years of getting my credit repaired, getting myself out of debt from 1994 to 1999. That's 5 years. 1994 to 1999 went through everything to get us out of debt. Me and my wife out of debt, fix our credit. We didn't end up filing bankruptcy. We saved ourselves from having to file bankruptcy, but we were over $300,000 in debt. And the strategies that we use is exactly what we utilize for the credit repair shop. Now, but there was, when we were going to buy that house, there was a last test. And I talk about this a lot with when you're trying to make a change in your life. There's a certain process that you have to make, and then there's a certain process that's the process. Either like I'm doing it for you as with my company, or you're doing it for yourself, but that's a process. That's like, drafting your dispute letters and sending those off. That's a process. But there's a mental side to it, and you see this a lot. A lot of people quit with the mental side. And if you think about it, if you quit on the mental side, there's really nothing that you can do on the other side that will either fix, because you will either make failure happen because you want failure to happen, or when success happens, you will jump back over to here. And we have people that have done that, and I've counseled them and I told them that you did not change. So when I say the last test to people, when I say the last test to myself on any level that I'm trying to get to in life, on a personal level, physical level, financial, whatever it is, the last test is, and I got it wrote right here on my paper, did you change? Who are you? The same person that started here that's about to have that success here? Have you changed? Stay with me. Don't leave. Stay with me, because this is very important. What happened with my wife and I when we were buying that dream house is that they came to us and they said, you need, I believe it was another $2,000 for the down payment. We had already scraped up, this house was $352,000. We scraped up everything. We had to get this house. Number one, me as a man, I had to come through to get this house for my family. Number two, my wife and I wanted to get this house for our children. So this was going to be done. It wasn't going to be how we're going to do it. We said this will be done. And this is the truth. Our kids had a piggy bank. It didn't have $2,000 in it, but we had to utilize all of that money, and we had to go into a reserve fund for our business that we really didn't want to do, but we had to do it because we had to get that property. We had to get that house, our dream house. And remember when I tell you about buying a house, it's about buying a house is buying a house. But when you buy a house, you are in charge of your life fully. You don't have to have a landlord or someone that you have to deal with. It's yours. It's your house. So there's a financial side, and then there's a personal benefit side without having people breathing down your neck, and you're able to do everything that you want to do with that home. Now, to close out that story, we bought that house and it was overpriced back then, over 25 years ago, for $352,000. We sold that house for almost double what we paid for. So we got the enjoyment with the family, security, best house in the neighborhood. It sold for the highest price of a home that sold in that neighborhood. It was our home, but it was safety, security, everything for my wife and my three children. I mean, it meant the world to us. But what happened at that period of time was, even though we had went through and got ourselves out of debt, got ourselves with credit repaired and everything, was that we still had that test, that last test. Did you change? Are you ready to be this new person that has this type of property? Are you ready for that responsibility? See, you can have mental blocks that's stopping you from being able to move forward to get to what you want. So that last test, that's my real life example of a last test. Now, let's break down what this individual needs to do. What this individual needs to do and what you need to do. What you need to do to fix any item that you know it's been removed from the other bureaus and it's not being removed from one last bureau. So the first thing that you got to do is you got to break down the response. So you have to break down response. And that's the response that you get from the bureau. A lot of people will just get the letter and they don't really break it down and evaluate what they're saying. When you get that letter, you're going to get two different types of potential responses. You're going to get a template, or you're going to get an individual. You're going to get an individual response or exclusive response. And here's the difference. The letter, the 502 letter that we talked about in the video that TransUnion was sending out, where it was just everyone that was disputing information on the reports, they were just sending out this 502 letter, and it was basically the same thing. It was basically, when the disputes came in, they just went to whatever department and they just spit out that letter. That happens with all of the bureaus, is that they have a templated letter that when they get a dispute, that it could be pushed right into that where they're going to send out that templated letter. And that frustrates everybody. It frustrates us here at the Credit Repair Shop. People talk about it all the time. They're like, how can one bureau not do it and another bureau not do it? And let me tell you, the first part of that is that they don't care what the other one does. They are in competition, and just because one takes it off does not mean that they have to take that same information to take that information off of your credit report. So now, Steve, you're saying, well, Steve, what is the solution? How can I take care of this? With that individual that you're talking about, they did a CFPB complaint. They didn't do anything, and that was like supposed to be the end all to everything. They sent in their disputes, got it off of LexisNexis, so they know that when the bureau goes to look for the information, and we know that they go to LexisNexis and they go to other companies now, not just LexisNexis, but they gather that information from LexisNexis and then they post it on your credit reports. So you know that it's not there because the individual said that they got that information off of their off of their LexisNexis. So the problem is that they're not actually doing a real investigation. So now your question to me is, Steve, why are they not doing a real investigation? Let me tell you what I've came to, and it has worked with the Credit Repair Shop. And this is going to blow your mind, and I've probably said this a few times in other videos, is that the solution is not in the law. Like, everybody is disputing the information, and they're disputing it based on law. Well, let me tell you something, and this is something that I've learned from being around, from having my own issues where I had to deal with stuff with court on both sides where I was suing people or I was being sued, and from dealing with hundreds of thousands of disputes, really millions of disputes, is that the solution is not always in the law. Now, here's an example. This happens with every court case, even on criminal court cases. Have you ever heard someone's, like in a criminal court case, they say, well, they copped a plea bargain? That means that they actually came to a resolution before they went to court. Have you ever heard in civil court, we came to a settlement? And that means that they had a settlement before they went to court. Now, they don't, when you're talking in those either civil or criminal cases, you're not quoting laws. You're not saying, well, this is the law and this is what we have to do in this situation, or this is the law and that. No, it's a conversation. It's a conversation. It's not about quoting the laws and making you look a certain way and you have to do this, you have to do that. No, it's about stating your individual opinion, not based on the law. Now, I know that might sound crazy. It might sound crazy, but I've seen this work time and time again, especially when it gets to the point of what we're talking about here. As a matter of fact, one of my business clients had a bankruptcy. The bankruptcy was reversed in the court. We sent the documents to the bureaus, and only one of the bureaus, this is from a judge, saying there is no bankruptcy. Take it. The judge didn't say take it off the reports, but the judge wrote a letter saying the bankruptcy was reversed. There is no bankruptcy. And still, two of the bureaus had refused to take it off for that initial letter. And my staff, because of what we do, we go into a special letter that we've produced, that I put together, and it's a conversation stating the opinions, or stating, I don't want to say a demand, but in a way it is a demand. And you are stating your demands, and then you're putting it in a conversational type manner. And this will get into the hands of the individual, and they will read it. And I'm just about guarantee, either on the first time or the second time, you will have either the outcome that you wanted, or you will know the next step to get the outcome that you want. Because see, right now, when you're dealing with the template, when you're stuck in the template phase, and I'm not talking about you having a template, I'm talking about them, everything you send to them, they're sending you a templated back response. You're not really getting anyone. You're just having your document come in, and it's just going through the computer, and it's a templated response sent to you in the mail, or just uploaded to your credit monitoring service. You got to get out of that phase. And the way you get out of that phase is, if you got lucky and you got an individual response, then you're just doing the follow-up work based on that response, not based on the law. Because see, what people will get mixed up and start doing is they're going to say, well, this is I know that I'm in the individual response. This is not a response that they would have just done with a template. It's like they're talking to me. But you don't come back to them and you're just trying to quote the laws to get this information removed. You are making a request to them, or a demand, lack of a better word, because it's more of a conversation, to come to a resolution to get that information removed. And that's going to be in a conversation. And it's going to be in a conversation that needs to be crafted on paper. One of the biggest skills that I've developed over time, and it's taken me many years, is that I can write on a piece of paper, and the individual is reading it, and they think that they could be talking to me. I see this all the time when I'm sending out emails, that the individual will respond to me as if I'm speaking to them, and those emails were actually automated generated. But I did make them, but they were generated. But I put everything into those emails because I knew that I need to be conversating with my potential clients or with my clients. And that's why I wrote them that way, because everything needs to be in conversation. And so when you get them to where they're, number one, reacting to you on an individual basis, where they're not sending a templated response, then you need to craft that letter back to them based on that response. And let me throw in there, the individual that we're talking about with this situation actually called Experian and on the phone and still didn't get the result that they wanted. They called them, so they did all of that stuff, and also called them and didn't get the result. And I told them exactly what I'm telling you. Yes, there's more to it, but you know, these are things that we do here at the Credit Repair Shop. But I'm telling you exactly what you need to do. You need to, once you know that it's in that individual status, and you will know by the document that you get, then you need to prepare your responses, and you need to stay out of the law. There's a time to be in the law, and there's a time to be out of the law. And this is the time to be out of the law, because you're stating your individual demand. I keep saying demand, but I don't want to make it to where you're making a letter where usually when you say demands is people start quoting laws. What I want you to do is I want you to make your demands, but I want you to keep the laws out of it. You just need to state your demand, but keep the laws out of it. So I hope that this helped. I know that this helped you. You're going to need to watch this video a couple of times, because the secret is in here. I'm giving you the secret, but you might be saying, well, Steve, you didn't tell me exactly what to say, because your situation is different. How can I tell you exactly what to say when your specific situation is different? Well, you might be saying a bankruptcy. Bankruptcy isn't a bankruptcy, and it's not considered the same as another bankruptcy if it came off of one bureau and it didn't come off another. There's something individual about that, the way that they're looking at your bankruptcy on their bureau's credit report, that makes them believe that that information should stay on that report. And the way to do that is to take the law out of it and make your individual response, your demand, without the law. And it's not just about saying, I want to have this removed. It's in a conversational letter stating your reasoning behind why this information needs to be removed. And it's going to be in a resolution format. Let's resolve before we potentially go somewhere else. And that information will either get removed on the first try, or it'll get removed after they respond, and you read that response that they had, and you know it's going to be an individual response, and then you make the next move. That's what problem solving is all about. That's what problem solving is all about. Don't be the one that's afraid to continue going because you don't know what's on the other side. Take a chance. All right. Please like this video. Please post your questions and comments. Please subscribe to my channel. If you need help with your credit, please visit thecreditrepairshop.com. Link is below this video. Watch the video, What Makes Us Different, so you can see my 8-point validation process, my 2-phase settlement process. That's the way that we repair credit here. I don't care what other people do. That's the way we do it here. If you need your credit reports and scores, go to the website your3scores.com. Grab your TransUnion, Equifax, Experian credit report. That is the fuel that you need to get you where you need to go. You need data to be able to get where you need to go. This here, data. If it's a template response, data. How do you respond? Data. How do you respond to individual responses? Data. That's all data. When you hear people say, give me the data so I can respond, that's what they mean. If you have debt collectors coming after you, grab my 3-pack of letters, statute of limitations letter, cease and desist collection activities letter, and the statute of limitations letter. Link is below this video. Please make a donation. If you decide to get the free pack, I do have a paid pack that just is a little bit more updated, but both of them will do the job. Thank you for your time.